Alright, well today I'm going to do a modification on my smoker, and I have here the Bradley BTDS76P. This is the 4-rack smoker, and they do have a 6-rack that's the same width as this. I'm not familiar with any of the other models, and I wish that I would have bought one of these brand new when I bought my Traeger, which I didn't know that these existed. When I bought the Traeger, I spent close to the same amount of money, and I found out about this Bradley smokers after I bought the Traeger. But I finally do have one. I bought it secondhand. Got it on a good deal. I went through and cleaned it, and it's already getting dirty again from me using it. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So what was happening was the oven, I would set it at 235, let's say 230, 240, somewhere in there. This is the oven side, so that's this element back here. This side controls the burner, and you have these wooden biscuits, which you load up through here, and then it kicks them out on to this plate. But I like the whole idea of being able to walk away, program it, walk away, and just come back when it's done. But what's going on with this one is, let's say you set this to 230, it won't get up to temperature in there. It's about roughly 12 degrees cooler in there. And these things are insulated well, and I've got it here in the garage, so it's not like the wind is whipping around getting to it. And I'll open up the garage doors. So I called the company and I talked with them about it, and they said to make sure that the sensor was clean. You can just see it right there. And of course it was black. See that black buildup back there? The whole cabinet was like that. And so I cleaned that off, hopeful that it would take care of the problem, and it did not. There was also buildup on this burner, which I cleaned really good, and that helped the biscuits burn properly, so that part of it's taken care of. I also took this apart and inspected all the parts in there, and everything seems to be hunky-dory. These sensors are inexpensive. I thought about replacing it, and I came across a video where they're doing a modification to put a different element in here to make it come up to temperature. Now the element that they are using is not from Bradley. It's one that they purchased on Granger.com, or you can get it from other websites, I would imagine. But this is the fella right here. I don't know if these numbers will bring it up, but if you just type in 900 watt Tempco, T-E-M-P-C-O, Tempco 900 watt, and you stop right there and this will come up. And I don't remember if it was $60 or $70, don't remember. So we're going to put this in there. I watched a video of a man and a woman doing the modification. They put a list of the parts that you'll need down in the description. And this wasn't intended to be a how-to video, because there's several out there, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be filming this, why not just do what they did and make it a how-to video, and that way, why would I direct you to their video when you can just watch this one? So I will show you what they did, and I might add a few different steps myself, we'll see. So the first thing I did is put this deflector back on here, and I'm going to score right across there, because when you install this element here, you don't want to make it too high, because then this won't sit on here right, and the guy pointed that out in his video. One thing I really like about this Bradley smoker is the ease of disassembly. Unplug, unplug, unplug. This pulls right out. Nice. So the first thing that we want to do is remove the 4 screws that hold this on, and I think there's little brackets on there. I don't have someone to video for me, so I can't show you, but I think you can figure that out. You want to be careful with your ceramic pieces and make sure that you put all your parts in a place where you're not going to lose them, because you're going to reuse them. This little protective grill comes right out, and then we have a nut on both ends to hold the element in place, and there's also a bracket right down here that you have to remove this screw, and then this bracket will slide out. But first, remove the nut on the end. That just slides out of there, but again, remove, you don't have to take the screw all the way out, but unscrew it. You can slide this out, but you'll have to take the wire off, take that nut off first, and then you can get that out. Now, these are 7mm or 9/32, and I don't have an open-end wrench on either of those sizes, so I had to use this little adjustable wrench, which was annoying, but it is what it is. I guess I better get me a couple of little wrenches. Okay, so it turns out that I didn't need to score a line across there. It was a little helpful, but not necessary. I watched closely what the gentleman on the video was doing, and it works out that this line on the top of this little ridge here lines up with that groove in there. So on both sides I lined it up. Right, yeah, the bottom of the element is lined up with that groove, and that's pretty close to where he has it, and there's plenty enough room underneath that heat deflector. Nothing's going to be in the way. So I took an 1/8" drill and I drilled through there. I first punched it with one of those punches, drilled through, and now I think we have to take the back panel off. So there's a bunch of screws around the perimeter. We're going to take those off and then see what's behind that panel. Full of insulation. That's a good thing. Okay, I am going to unplug these wires. We're going to notice here that the green and yellow wire goes to the top. That reddish orange one goes to the far side. It would be the right if you look at it from this direction. And the white one to the left. And then we'll remove this thing out of the way. I found out where my drill hole was and put a mark there with a marker. And then on this wire and this one, you want to feed some of that extra in there because we're going to need that. You get a difference from end to end here, and then from that stud to that one. So we're going to need extra wire. I may have to clip this. I don't know just yet. So now I want my 1/4" drill bit, and I can go ahead and drill through here. It might be just as easy to go around to the other side and drill through. That way I don't mess things up. I also took a razor blade and I cut up here and I cut across there, and then I took my screwdriver and just, you want to make room so you can get the bolt in there with a washer and get right down to the metal. So I'm going to do that to this side, and then we'll get the bolts put in. Okay, so grab your 1/4" by 2.5" bolt. You can put on a lock washer, then your flat washer, and then stuck them through. Parts list I should have put in the beginning. If I remember, I'll put it down below. If I forget, You're just gonna have to look up that guy's video, and he's got it in the description, but I will do my best to remember. Alright, now on the inside we're gonna put a washer. Oh, I can't do this one-handed very easily. Then a lock washer, then a nut, and then we'll pick up in a minute. So now we're going to position the element, and the original one was about a finger width back there. Now if you got great big sausage fingers, then it would be a little less, but that's about how far they had it. So I'm going to adjust these nuts back here so that I can get this to about my finger width. I wear a large glove, so you know. Okay, I have this situated and spaced right where I want it. And then on the front side I put a flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut, and tighten those down. So the white wire, just by pulling a little bit through, is going to have enough room. The red one was too short, so what I did was I brought the red wire out of the hole, slipped it up through that tie down, brought it back through here. When I get all done, then I'll just come back here with a small zip tie and dress that up so it looks good. Now the other thing is, the eyelet on this wire is too small to go over here. So what he did, and I'm not going to be able to show you without stopping the video, is you're going to have to just snip a little portion off there. I'll do that and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, you just snip a little bit of the end off, and then you can, you know, you can make it go on there. If you need to spread that out a little bit, you can do that. You could, if you wanted, just snip off that connector and put a proper one on there, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay, so I have that on there. Now what I'm going to do is put a zip tie in the back. I removed this stuff with my cordless screw gun, but I recommend using a hand screwdriver because you just don't want to mess this part up. It's ceramic, break easy. So let me do that, put the back panel on, I believe we're done. The only thing I had to do before finishing the screw on the ceramic was loosen the element up and move it that way a little bit. So you want to kind of center it in between there. And again, be careful tightening down your ceramic pieces. And now I can put this piece on here. Which fits good. And then I still have the back panel to put on. One-handed. Pretty good, eh? All right, let's turn it around. This part's pretty self-explanatory. Just go backwards from what you did. Only I'm gonna have to review. I think I forgot. See the guy in the other video? He labeled down there with a marker which ones were which. Me, the only one I remember is the white one, so I have to go and review. So it'd be a good idea to use a marker and label it. I really recommend tightening these up with a regular screwdriver, well, a Phillips regular, don't use your screw gun. There's 3 or 4 of these that were stripped out. Could have been from the factory. I know they use automatic guns that are torqued, but I've used them before in the factory and they're not perfect. And you can strip out the holes. So I guess that wraps this up, and we'll see you guys on... Oh, should we check and see if it works? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. We shall plug it in. I bought one of these handy carts from the auction years ago. And it's really nice. I like it. It works good for the smoker. Go around the other thing. Look at that. I bought these at an auction for like $100, a couple dollars over maybe. And it advertised that one was complete, and the other one, it might have said for parts or incomplete, don't know. This one was complete. I brought it home and fired it up and put my abrasive concrete wheel on there, and I finished my last cut out there in the driveway. Next spring I shall bust that up and pour new concrete. This one was missing the recoil starter. You can see that one's new. It's an aftermarket one. And then it didn't have good compression, so I threw some rings in there. The cylinder looked great, and put it all back together, and that one runs. I ordered one of the used cover like that one on eBay for like, I don't know, after shipping $10. So that'll be here in a little bit. I don't need 2, but I got 2. And then that one up there has been a thorn in my side ever since I got it. That one I'm giving to my brother. He can have it back. I don't want it. Okay, so on. Oven temperature setting. It's, oh, okay. Now I'm going to go up. Let's push that again. Let's stay at 230. And so right now it's at 70. I don't need to mess with this side because that's for the biscuit burner. So I'll pull this out so I can look at it. Aha! It's already hot. Ouchie. Alright. So when I come back after a little bit, this side should read really close to that side. Hopefully just within a couple of degrees, but it'd be nice if it said 230. Alright, let's come back after a cup of coffee. And it took me about an hour and a half. It was about 11:45, I think, when I started. Yeah, we're looking at roughly an hour and a half. Not bad. Okay, so yeah, that outlet over there, I forgot, is on a GFI breaker up there. So I plugged it in. We'll start over. On. Oven temp set. I don't know if you're supposed to hit that again. I don't know. I don't have instructions with the thing, so it's set at 230. Right now the temperature is 84 in there. And buddy, that gets hot quick. Okay. So we'll let it cook a while and see what happens. So I think I was starting to tell about this cart before. It's like one of those that you'd see in school with a VCR on it, for those of you who are old enough to remember having VCRs in school. It's got a cord on it. And it works out good for this setup. So I have 2 boxes of these different kinds of wood biscuits here. I don't know. I can't. Oh, that one's cherry and that one's pecan. And this one was there was a box that had a little bit of mesquite in there, which turned out to be really good. And then I don't know what that one is. That's like a mystery one. So I went down to Grand Rapids, pick up my wife from the hospital. Oh, I don't know, a month ago. I don't know when it was. It was a long time ago. And I looked on Marketplace while I was sitting there, and lo and behold, here was this one, I think for $175. And I asked the guy if he'd take $150, and he said, "Would you come and get it tonight?" I said, "Surely," which was on our way home if we just took a different route. So we took that route and had some good conversation with the man. He took the $150. Man, I don't know. I haven't priced those boxes there, but I'm guessing they're, I don't know, just guessing. Don't know. $30 a piece? $20 a piece? Don't know. So it also came with these rings, which you load up these in here, doink, and then you would push wood right there, and it's going to go brrr, brrr. Doesn't make those noises, but you do that again until you get one out here. It's already up to 92 on the burner there while you start smoking. When you're all done, you can put that spacer in there, and that way it will kick out the spacer and get rid of the last biscuit. The other thing that you can do, you see, is take this here and just pretend like it's inside there. You won't be able to load it through there to do this, but you could grab some of these pellets, sprinkle them in there. First of all, place this right there on the, right here. You could put a couple of them, doink doink, the burner being right here. Have those ready, and then that way you could actually burn pellets in there. Those came with it. So up to 110 already. Once this proves itself, I am going to get some ribs ready, and we're going to have some ribs now, not tonight, but yeah, this isn't wide enough for a rack of ribs, so you have to chop them in half and stuff. So if I'd stop opening it, it would get to temperature quicker. Huh. It's higher. I kind of wondered if that would happen because that's quite a bit bigger element. Well, I would rather have higher than lower because I can always set it lower. But before, this thing maxes out at, oops, I can't read without getting down there with my bifocals going, oven temperature. Okay, it maxes out at 320. Before, when I would put it on 320, it wouldn't even make it up to my target goal at 230. So, yeah, this is going to work. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit closer. It seems like some of the people I watched on the YouTubes showed theirs matching up, but they may have you know, went in there and videoed it and then stopped it before it went too high. I don't know. But too high is better than too low. Plus, I won't be in here in the garage with it heated. It's going to be outside or over here by the door with that up. Cold air will be coming in. I don't know. These are insulated pretty good, so I really don't know out in the elements how it holds up. We're going to find out. So hopefully the next video will be some ribs on the smoker. Another thing that I liked better was the flavor profile of this as opposed to the Traeger. They're both good, but we're going to see. Well, I have some pork ribs in here today, and it's holding pretty close. I've got it set at 230 degrees, and right now it's at 236. It's been fluctuating a little bit, but that is totally acceptable. Well, it's been about a half hour or so. 230, 232. Yes, sir. I have changed up my recipe a bit, and I've never shared my recipe. I came up with it on my own. I came up with my own rub, and someday I always had hoped that I could open up a rib joint, and it just never happened. Down south, if I would have lived down there, it would have been a lot easier. Because up here, the health department's all over you. And I don't know about everywhere down south, but there are places that I know of where they don't have the health department just come in and tell you you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to jump through hoops. They just have a grading system posted up at your restaurant, and people come in and they look at that. If they like what they see, they sit down and eat, and then they can grade the cleanliness, the taste of the food, all that kind of stuff. And man, I'm cold, but not here in Michigan. No, health department. Health department. Oh, health department. So there is a feller on the YouTubes. Well, before I get into that, I guess I will tell you what got me to look for that. I didn't want to have to buy more of these things. I tell you, they're expensive. These biscuits, I call them hockey pucks. They're expensive. And so I got to looking around. There's a fella online that made his own. And I thought, hey, I want to give that a try. So I made my own. Now, mine are not consistent in thickness. And it was my first time making them. And so all he did was he had bought a bag of, a bag of wood chips. They weren't even chips. They were slightly larger than this stuff. And so he put it in a coffee grinder thing or a blender of some sort, and he chopped it up finer. And I have pellets for my pellet smoker, and I thought, you know what, I'll just try that. So I put a bunch of these in a plastic bag and smashed them with a hammer. And I have a one of those small handheld coffee grinders / spice grinder. I don't know, I just use it for whatever. and I put that stuff in there and chopped it up. And then what you do is 8 ounces of your wood particles, 8 ounces to 1 ounce of potato starch. So you take the potato mix it with your sawdust, your hardwood, and then take 10 ounces of boiling water and pour it in there, and then mix it around real good. And this is what he used for a mold, because those hockey pucks fit perfect in there. And he had 2 steel discs. I didn't want to get my plasma cutter out just for that, so I got a couple pieces of blue wire. Trying not to shiver out here. Sun was out, and now it not. Take your sawdust and put it in there, and then put another one of those on there. He made his own press, but I have one, so I didn't need to. Anyways, get that on there and press it down, and then viola. You got some, I call them garage cookies. And this black, I flipped them over, and the black is just from the char on there. You got to have the char. So when they dry, I'll give them a shot and see. This is a lot finer than this. This is an original one, and it fell right into the thing of water in there. I mean, immediately, as soon as it hits the water, you try to pick it up, it falls to pieces like that. Well, it didn't fall to pieces like that in the water. I hurried up, picked it up, set it down, and when I went to pick it up after that, it just fell apart. So if this works out good, and I want to make some more, what I will do is figure out how many kerchunks with the handle that it takes to get the right size thickness. And then what I will do is put a block under here so that it stops this from going down right at the right spot. And then it will be consistent. And then I can go ahead and make these. Because I figure if I don't have anything to do at any given day, I can make a batch of these things. It makes about 12 or 14. 230, 237. Man, I'll tell you what, I am so happy that I found that modification on YouTube to get this thing fixed. Man, because I've been wanting one of these Bradley smokers for a long time. Maybe we'll check in on the meat.
You pork ribs. I love making some pork ribs. Yes, sir, I love making the pork ribs.
Brr. It's not super cold, but when you're just dressed like this, you start to get chilly. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. They are ready to go in tin foil.